Assalamu alaikum, gorgeous. Welcome back to this episode of the Rosalind Batul Show. And today's topic is a little triggering, as is all my topics that I speak about. So, trigger warning here, the stuff I speak about today isn't to hurt you or to make you feel triggered or to anger you in any way. Neither is it for me to judge you. This is a judgment free zone. This is a safe space for you to just unpack your beliefs and figure out where your beliefs came from so that you can let them go. That's really what I like to do in all my content, whether it's a podcast, whether it's written content, whether it's my lives, whether it's in my stories. I just like to help you unpack your belief system so you can leave it in the past where it belongs. So today's topic is all about marriage won't heal you and a baby ain't gonna save your marriage. Oof, girl, we have so much to unpack here. And this podcast has been inspired by my latest ebook, which will be out soon, inshallah, which is called God Ain't a Man, the feminine way to reconnect to God. And I speak about my journey of healing from spiritual abuse, from religious traumas that are connected to the daddy wound and to my childhood and the mother wound that was keeping me in my undeveloped feminine. And when you're in your undeveloped feminine, you will do a lot of things that are so crazy and you'll look back and think, what the heck was I thinking? Because when I was writing the ebook, I was like, what the heck, girl? Girl, what were you thinking? Like, did you not see the signs? Were you that blind? Like, come on, girl. Like, you're intelligent. You have a whole law degree. You did a dissertation in one night. How did you miss that? How did you miss that? And it's when you start reflecting on your life. I reflect on my life all the time, but actually having it written down to share with the world, me being vulnerable, being naked in front of you, is just like, oh my gosh, I was so dumb back then. Not in a judgmental way, but in a jokey way. Like, I really believed in my own traumas. I really believed in my belief that I'm unworthy. So let me take it back to 2011. I was graduating from university and I was married at the time. So I got married in uni in 2009. And I thought I had accomplished something great because I reverted in 2009. Yeah, end of 2009, beginning of 2010, I got married. June 2010, I got married. So I thought I had accomplished something. And when we talk more in this podcast, you will figure out what I thought I accomplished. But I thought I was the bee's knees girl. I thought I was the bomb. Like, I was like, I got married. I'm at university. I wear a niqab. Look at me. Nothing can stop me. Anyone who says that they can't be married at university, yada, yada. And when I look back as to why I got married, I realize it's because I wanted safety. And when you revert, the first thing that people ask you is when you're going to get married. It's asked in such a way like you are not complete in your religion until you get married. And there's always a hadith that is thrown around about marriage being half your deen, which I don't believe. And I don't think it's a strong enough hadith anyway, because the actual hadith is cleanliness is half of your faith. And I think for men, their half of their faith is marriage. Because remember, in my previous podcast, I said that Adam is missing his rib because Eve was created from his rib, meaning he is defected and he has to go and find his rib. He has a disability, all right? His rib is missing. He has to go find it so he can feel complete. We were created from a living thing. Adam's soul was breathed into his body, and then Eve was created when Adam was alive in Jannah. So we came, as women, we came from this form of worthiness, abundance, everything that we ever need. We came from this luxurious energy because Allah thought, well, Adam's going to be lonely in Jannah, so he needs a spouse because Adam was defected. He wanted to create Adam defected so that he can go on and spend his whole life. The sons of Adam could spend their whole life trying to find their rib, right? So now that you know that, I had this belief, well, I was told this, that marriage is half my faith and I have to get married to avoid haram, zina, fornication, fitna, to not be a fitna to Muslim men. I have no idea why that is such a common misconception in the Muslim community, but it is. And that's what I learned back then, that getting married will save me from hellfire and it will help me be more pure and all this stuff. Now, I understand this is not a universal concept in the Muslim community as I'm learning now, but back then it was. And remember, we didn't have TikTok like we have now. I think, what did I have back then? BB Messenger. We had Instagram, but Instagram didn't have the information that we have now. Like, you had to go to lectures, you had to go to the mosque to listen to lectures, and maybe YouTube. I had YouTube, and there was lectures there, but it was only people who were approved of listening to. Remember, like, we still have this debate going on in the Muslim community of who is apostate, who's a hypocrite, don't listen to this person, don't listen to that person, this person's deviant. All that stuff was really rampant back then, back in 2010. So remember that. Just remember that when you're thinking in your mind, like, how did you come up with this conclusion, have this information? Well, the information wasn't really available to me the way it is now, especially because we have TikTok and we're in the age of information. A lot has changed since 2010. So anyways, I had this belief that I need to get married. And of course, in my heart, I still didn't want to be a career woman. I actually wanted to settle and be a housewife and just get paid. And that's all I wanted. I returned, Allah helped me return back to my feminine state. And the way I approached that was to think, okay, I need to get married. I need to get married because of what I'm hearing. And this the feeling I had that I just want to relax. I don't want to be working anymore. I don't want to make money. I don't want to be a man. I want to feel like a woman. And that's what Islam did for me. Islam helped me feel like a woman. So anyways, I met a guy. Well, we didn't meet him, but I already knew him from my lessons, from my classes. And he was a reaver. And then we ended up getting married. Fast forward to 2011. I find out I'm pregnant. Now, before that, a lot of issues were happening in our marriage. You will find out in the ebook what was happening. And then I found out I was pregnant. Now, before the circumstance of leading up to I was pregnant, before that, we were going through issues in our marriage where he constantly was divorcing me. And in my mind, I thought I need to have a baby with him. The only solution is a baby. Like, girl, what were you thinking? What was going on in your mind? I did not know what was going on in my mind, but I was just thinking, if this guy just had a baby with me, he would love me. He would want to be with me because he didn't want to be with me, and don't know what was going on with him, but I guess he was a reflection of my belief system, of the daddy wound that I had within. But anyways, so I had this belief that if I just have a baby with him, he's going to love me more. Girl, was I wrong? So I found out I was pregnant on graduation day. And during this time on graduation day, he completely ignored me. He wasn't around me. He just chose to act like I did not exist, even though we were in the same room as each other graduating. And all my friends were mad. They were angry. They kept saying to me, listen, Rose, just leave it be. You're not married anymore. Let it go. Just move on with your life. And I was like, listen, I need to take a pregnancy test because I just feel pregnant. My makeup is not matching my skin tone. I've gone darker. I used to use MAC back then. I know we boycotted MAC, but I used to use MAC back then, and the foundation wasn't matching. I was like, there's something going on. Don't know what's going on with me. So anyways, took a pregnancy test, and it was a plus. It was a plus sign straight away. Before when the P stick was loading, it was just a pink red sign, pink plus sign. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. I already knew it. I messaged him, and he was like, I divorce you. That's the end of that. Okay. So here's what I want you to understand from my story. That I had a daddy wound, a huge one. It was humongous. It was like the elephant in the room. It was my demon. It was always on my back. And when I look back at my life, I was always trying to subconsciously fix my father in a man. When I wanted to get married, is because subconsciously I wanted to find someone like my father to heal him. And this is what you do when you have unhealed traumas. When you have the daddy wound, the mother wound, it will affect your ability to receive, rest, and relax, which is your feminine energy, and it will affect your relationship with God. Because your mom and your dad represent your relationship with God. So when you have a strained relationship with either of your parents or both, you will also have a strained relationship with God. And I think what I was also trying to do is I was trying to find God in other means, such as marriage, such as hustling, being successful, trying to be different than my childhood, trying to prove myself. I was trying to find God in all these external validation when Allah says, I am as my servant thinks of me. So all I had to do was go within to find who Allah is to me, to reconnect to Allah. But when I had that daddy wound, I was attracting people in my life who are also unhealed. Now, what I want you to learn from my story is that it's not my ex's fault, and it's it's not. I don't feel angry or hatred towards him. I don't have any ill feelings towards him. In fact, this is all neutral. I don't feel nothing when I talk about this. But in that mindset that I was in, I believed that that was the only answer, something external. The only answer for me to feel loved and to feel accepted and feel like important and worthy was to be married and to have a baby, because I had that unhealed daddy wound. So when I look back at my childhood, my father abandoned me. And girl, he did not just abandon me, which is what you'll find out in my ebook. He literally like taunted me. He taunted me for a long time, and it hurt. And I didn't realize how much it hurt until I went on this healing journey. So the way I dealt with the hurt was to get angry and then to hustle and prove myself and seek validation. That's why I modeled. That's why I wanted to be a model, because like if I just get validation how pretty I look, maybe then I will feel loved by my dad. Everyone giving me validation and making me feel good about myself was me telling myself that my dad loves me. This is all subconscious, by the way. It's not conscious. This is why I use hypnosis and I use my framework, Abundance Rewiring, because it helps you unpack all these memories without you having to figure it out or go through years of therapy. Like within 10 to 15 minutes, you will figure out where this all came from, where these beliefs came from, and how to get rid of them and how to let them go. So that daddy wound that I had was not just abandonment, it was grief, it was anger, it was resentment, it was betrayal, it was guilt, it was shame. I felt so guilty as well that my dad didn't love me. Like, is there something wrong with me? Am I a defect? Is there literally something wrong with me? And that's why I had this belief that if I get married, it will heal me, it will help me, the guy will save me. The way I wanted my dad to save me. I wanted my dad to come and save me, because growing up was hard. My mom was sick. I didn't really feel like I had a parent in my life. I had to parent myself. And I felt like my mom was my child. I was always worried about her. I would often wake up in the middle of the night to check if she was alive, just like a parent does with their own baby. I used to check if she was breathing. I never felt comfortable just to be out with my friends, because I used to always worry about my mom. I would be worried that if I come home, she'll be dead or she'll be in a diabetic coma again. I never had a life where I felt free to be myself, free to be a child. So it's like a really weird dynamic where my father abused me, like essayed me, but then I wanted him to save me from my childhood, even though he's the one who put me in that situation. It's a very weird dynamic. But the guilt that came with that was, I just wish I was someone else, because my mom is not capable of looking after us. Like, she's not capable of taking care of us and giving us what we need, which is no fault of her own, because she went through her own traumas. She had a daddy wound, a mother wound. She had so many traumas. She never got to be a child, and that was being pushed onto me. So now you can imagine when I was thinking about marriage, it's like, it's going to save me. It's like the Cinderella story. The prince is going to come and make me a queen, and he's going to save me from all my pain, and he's going to heal me. But that's just manipulation, because not once did I say to the guy that I have daddy wounds and that my dad didn't love me and I need you to heal me. I never gave him the instruction manual on how to help me. I just expected him to do that. It's like telling a plumber to do brain surgery. He did not have the tools to help me, because he did not know what he was getting himself into, the same way I did not know what I was getting myself into. And this is what happens. This is what Allah says: good women are for good men and bad women are for bad men. Meaning, this is how I interpret it, that healed women and healed men go together, and unhealed women and unhealed men go together. We attract who we are. We don't attract what we do. We attract who we are at the core. And if at the core you have a belief running on repeat that I'm unworthy, you will attract every single scenario in your life that can possibly manifest that feeling of unworthiness in your money, in your career, in your relationships, with your relationship with God, with your intuition, with your femininity, with your sexual energy, with everything in your life. That belief, I'm unworthy, will manifest in every single area of your life, whether you like it or not. And then when I got pregnant, I was numb. I was numb for a very long time, because during the time of my pregnancy, I felt he wasn't supportive of at all. He wasn't around. I was alone and stressed out throughout my whole pregnancy. So I was just numb. I was in freeze mode. I was in flight mode. I couldn't function. I couldn't think. I just was in a state of complete disarray. And again, that was me reliving my childhood. That's exactly how I felt around my mom when she would go into a diabetic coma, like a hypoglycemic coma, where she would just like not wake up and you have to give her sugar or like give her something like glucose to help her wake up. It reminded me of that time. I would just freeze and I did not know what to do. I was young. I was like 8, 9 years old. And it happened from the age of 8 all the way until the day she died. That was my mom's life with me. That's what I remember. So I went into freeze mode because I was reliving my childhood. So what you have to understand is that you will always relive your childhood because your childhood is what feels familiar because you are stuck in the identity of the little girl who felt unworthy. That's it. And you are playing that identity in different areas of your life. I was playing that identity in my marriage, getting pregnant, being a mother, a first-time mother. I felt unworthy. I felt like I can't take this job on. Like, what was I doing? I thought that a baby would save my marriage and it didn't. And I felt like a failure. I felt like I failed as a human being. I looked at my son and I thought, I can't give this child a good life. I'm a terrible mother. I dealt with those feelings of being a terrible mother, bringing a child into this world that didn't realize that I was hoping that he would save my relationship with his father. Like he didn't realize that was his role. That's the expectation I had on him. And I lived with that guilt for a long time. But that's because in my mind, I was playing the little girl who felt unloved. And I thought if I have a baby, then somehow it will make me feel loved and it will bring my marriage together because I never had that as a child. And it's going to miraculously do something when really it didn't do anything other than cause more grief. So this is what I want you to take away from this conversation is that you are not looking to have a child or to get married. You are actually looking for a feeling. You're looking for the feeling of unconditional love and feeling worthy. You're looking for the feeling of being liked and validated and accepted and feeling like you belong somewhere. But I want to let you know this. You were born with all these feelings. I don't believe in having an abundance or scarcity mindset. There's only one mindset, which is the assured mindset. You were born with all the beliefs that you will ever need in this world to thrive. What happened along the way is that you just learned to be unworthy. It's a learned skill. It's a skill to feel unworthy. You learned through programming, through scripts, through criticism, through talks from your parents that you are unworthy. Like, for example, when they said to you, you're a terrible person because you got bad grades, or they made you feel bad. That is you learning in that moment that I'm only good enough when I get a good grade. Before that happened, you felt worthy. That's the reason why you took the test. That's the reason why you still went to school. That's the reason why you still face the challenge of being separated from your parents. When you actually unpack it, when you started going to school, you were separated from your parents. That was a scary feeling. But because you felt worthy and confident, you're like, I'm going to get through this because I know how to. When you learn how to walk, you didn't ever think to yourself, oh, I'm so unworthy. I keep failing. I keep falling down. You said you had an assured mindset. You were confident that I'm going to walk. I don't care how many times I fail. I don't care how many times I fall down. I don't care how many times it hurts. My mission is to walk because I have a purpose to fulfill. I have a destination to get to. I have an oath to fulfill. I'm in an oath with God that I'm going to come to earth and worship him. I'm going to make that oath come true, and I'm going to prove to God that I have everything I need and everything I've ever wanted to worship him in the most amazing way. You had that assured mindset before you came to earth. So you just unlearned it, or you learned to not tap into it. It's there. It never left you. But you are just carrying the traumas of your childhood, hoping that you can unpack it somewhere with someone. Because what's happening here? I'm going to think of it this way. We all live in the childlike identity. We have the childlike identity in our mind, but we act like our parents. when in our behaviors. So in our minds, we feel unworthy, but then we act like our parents. We do things that are similar to our parents in a way. Let's say, for example, you didn't get the job. Instead of you saying to yourself, girl, it's fine, you're still worthy, you're still going to make it. Instead, you criticize yourself the same way your parents criticize you. So you end up playing the child and the parent who's the adult in your life. That's the only two identities you play. So when you have all these traumas and you're thinking about getting married or having a child, what you're actually trying to do is you're trying to feel comfortable unpacking your baggage with someone. I want you to imagine your traumas are just literally baggage that is not yours. You're carrying your parents' baggage, you're carrying your friends' baggage, you're carrying society's baggage. It's not your baggage. So you are choosing to walk around with this baggage and saying, I need to unpack it. So where can I put this baggage? Oh, okay, let me get married. I can put it there. Oh, I can have a child. Oh, I can go to that career, make more money. Oh, I can, climb up the corporate ladder. Oh, I can make more friends. You have this baggage and you're trying to unpack it with someone because the only time you felt safe to unpack was with someone. That's your childlike identity. Your childlike identity needed your parent to emotionally regulate you. So you're looking for that parent in someone else. You're looking for the parent in your future husband, in your future children. You're looking for the parent in your friends, in your career, in your job, in your boss, in your colleague, in your money. You're looking for a parent there. You're looking for a parent to help you emotionally regulate. But the thing is this, you're never going to find it. Because what you have to do, you have to grow up in your mind and become the woman that you dreamt of becoming when you were a little girl. When you were a little girl and you were going through a hard time, not once did you say to yourself, oh my God, I cannot wait to grow up and be depressed. I cannot wait to grow up and just pay bills and die. I cannot wait to grow up and feel stressed out about money. You never once said that. You actually dreamt your way out of your pain by just dreaming of growing up. You used to always say to yourself, I can't wait to grow up. What were you waiting for, girl? You were waiting for something, a feeling. You were waiting to do something. That's who you are. Who you are right now is just carrying a heavy bag of traumas that are not yours. And all you have to do is put the bag down and say bye-bye to it. By growing up in your mind, by becoming your dream woman, by saying goodbye to the wounded little child who's running your show, who's running the show, driving the car, the child who keeps having a tantrum, the child who feels abandoned, doesn't feel like she belongs, feels unworthy, by saying to her, let's go. I'm taking you home with me. You're safe with me. By being her parent. Do you see? So instead of you finding a parent to emotionally regulate with, you become your own parent and you regulate your inner child. And instead of you letting her take control of your life, you tell her, I'm going to help you regulate yourself so that I can take control of our life and I can bring you home to safety with me. I can bring you home with me and make you feel safe. That's what you're meant to do. But you have to let go of that baggage. You have to let go of the trauma. And this is what we're doing in Sacred Feminine Pleasure. I'm helping you unpack your traumas, get rid of the baggage for good, because you were born with an assured mindset. There's no such thing as abundance and scarcity. These are all meanings you've created to keep you stuck in a label, to keep you stuck in the past. You are assured, you are confident, you've always been confident, you've always had power. You have all these abilities within you that have not been tapped into because you've been too weighed down and tired by carrying this heavy bag of traumas and beliefs that are not your own. And now that you're aware of it, when you still choose to carry that bag, it's because you benefit from it. You benefit, it's like a kink. You get turned on by it. You get turned on by being a victim. You get turned on by having no control over your life. You get turned on by being abused. You get turned on by being hurt because it reminds you of your childhood. And in Sacred Feminine Pleasure, we're going deep with that. We are going in. We are seeking. We are uncovering. We are conquering. We are facing our demons. We are facing the kinks. I call it a kink. We all have a kink. When we have traumas, we have a kink for pain. Because the opposite of pleasure is pain. And it's polarity. The law of polarity is if you can feel pain, you can feel pleasure. But because you're so accustomed to pain, all you do is feel pain, and you look for the pain because your mind looks for what's familiar, and what's familiar is childhood pain. You don't know what pleasure feels like. You don't know what that feels like, and you avoid it because of the unknown. The unknown is scary. And you've been taught your whole life not to go into the unknown because something might happen, something bad might happen. Don't take that risk. You're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your home, you're going to lose money. So you avoid the unknown, you're afraid of it. And that's why you always go back to what's familiar. That's why you're always attracting men who are just like your dad. You're thinking, if I just have sex with him, or I just have a baby with him, or I just give him my body, he's going to love me. No, girl, he's not. Your dad is not going to love you by doing it that way. Your dad is never going to love you. And there's no way you can prove to him that you're lovable. You have to prove it to yourself. You have to start giving yourself what you needed when you were younger. And what you needed when you were younger was for someone to hold you and hug you and tell you it's going to be okay. I've got your back. I love you. You're amazing. You make my life so much more better. You needed to hear words. You needed to feel loved. And you can make yourself feel loved without having to get married, without having a baby. And I'm not saying that you can't get married and have children, but I would rather you be healed and attract a man who is healed than for you to go through all this pain of being with a man who is not healed and for you to feel even more unhealed. Because now the woman I am now, I'm a healed woman. Alhamdulillah. I'm a thriving woman. I'm an assured woman. I'm confident. But I had to just let go of my traumas. I had to stop being a victim. I had to stop being little Rosie who felt abandoned by her dad and living that victim story forever. I just needed to stop and stop getting a kick out of it and getting turned on by it. I had to stop. I had to tell myself this is not normal. It's not okay to feel this way. It's not normal. And it's not normal to victimize myself and to manipulate people around me to make them love me. That's not normal either. It's not fair on the people around me. It's not fair on my friends, on my family, on my kids, on my husband. It's not fair. And when I let go of my traumas and just left them alone, and I grew up in my mind and I healed my inner child and I became the woman that I am now. I dreamt of becoming this woman 10 years ago. When I reverted, I've been dreaming about being this woman for a long time. I've arrived because I chose to just let go of the traumas. I no longer get turned on by them. No longer feel pleasure in the pain. No longer feel pleasure in being abused. No longer feel pleasure in being ignored and abandoned and not chosen. No longer feel the pleasure in being hurt or being heartbroken. Like, I know so much of us, I say that he broke my heart, because it gives you pleasure knowing that someone's going to see you as a victim. I don't like saying anyone's broken my heart. I hate it. Like, no, you did not have that power over me. I broke my own heart by expecting you to love me the way I can't love myself. That's how I broke my own heart. You didn't break my heart. You ain't got no power over me. You have no power in my life other than Allah. But I broke my own heart through my expectations of you to heal me. That's really what happened there. I wasn't heartbroken. I wasn't hurt. I hurt myself. I'm the one who did that because everyone is me pushed out. Everyone exists, but their experience with me is what I create. You exist. I exist. I know I say no one exists but me in the sense of like when people are doing what I want to do, like they're living the life that I want, that's when I say to myself, that person is me because no one exists but me. But everyone exists, but we choose an experience with people. We choose to experience something with someone so we can heal something within, or so we can experience something within. We choose that experience because Allah says He's given us free will. He's given us the free will to choose our belief systems. He's given us free will over our thoughts. That means you get to choose the meanings you make of the experiences in your life. You get to choose if you actually feel heartbroken or if you actually feel hurt by your own actions. You get to choose whether that person hurt you or whether you hurt yourself by expecting that person to heal. You get to choose the meaning. You always get to choose the meaning, the beliefs and the thoughts. You are in total control of your reality. You are in total control of how you think. No one's got control over that. I know so many people say about shaitan and waswas. Yes, there are elements of that, but you still have control over how much it can affect you. Like, of course, I have negative thoughts, but I'm just like, well, I really don't want to go down that road because I don't like the feeling. I'm addicted to peace and happiness. I'm addicted to joy. I'm addicted to the feeling of overflow and abundance and assurity and confidence and money and richness and luxury energy. I'm addicted to high frequency, high vibrations. That's what I'm addicted to now. So if I ever have a negative thought or I wallow in self pity, I'm like, girl, that doesn't turn you on anymore. It really does not turn me on to feel like a victim anymore. I don't get turned on by it. I don't feel pleasure in it anymore. I feel like, ugh, I don't want to be in this energy anymore. I feel icky. I'm addicted to the peace. And you can get like this. It's so easy. In fact, oh my gosh, girl, it is so easy to get addicted to peace and happiness. More easier than getting addicted to the victim story. Just by letting go of the traumas that are not yours to carry, by letting go of the baggage that you're carrying, the beliefs you are carrying that are not yours, by unlearning, not by learning more. You don't need to learn about who's a narcissist. You don't need to learn your attachment style. You don't need to know if you're neurodivergent or if you're neurotypical, all this stuff, like if you're a manifesting generator, all these labels. You don't need another label. You have already labeled yourself a victim. That's enough of a label for you to peel off so you can uncover who you really are. And the only way you can peel off that label is by unlearning what you've learned in childhood, unlearning the belief that you are unworthy, unlearning the behaviors of procrastination and people pleasing, unlearning avoiding yourself, avoiding doing the inner work. That's what you need to unlearn. You don't need to learn more. Yeah, you become aware of it. When I became aware that I was in a narcissistic relationship, I was just like, girl, because I'm a narcissist. Hello. If someone was to open my mind back then, they were like, Rose, you're a narcissist because the way you talk to yourself is absolutely disgusting. The things you believe about yourself is absolutely horrible, because a narcissist is just an insecure little child who never grew up, never felt loved. Well, girl, I was the same then. If my ex is a narcissist, then girl, I am too. If my ex is toxic, so am I. Whatever I see in people is because I feel it myself. Everyone is you pushed out for you to heal something within you, for you to figure out who you really are. You create experiences with people for you to find out who you really are. And I choose to create experiences with people who will help me embody my higher self. That's what I choose. When I hire coaches and when I invest in programs, when I'm around my friends, the friends I have are the ones who help me embody my higher self, the one that Allah designed me to be. Because I choose that experience. I don't choose people who have low vibration. I don't choose people who talk bad about money. I don't choose people who talk bad about life. I don't choose people who choose to have an experience with people who are just stuck in victim mentality, because that's not me anymore. I choose experiences with people who give me meaning to my belief system, which is I'm worthy. I've always been worthy. I know I'm worthy. Girl, I'm it. I'm the spot. I build my own door. Life is on my terms. I create the terms of my life. No one dictates it to me. I dictate it. And then Allah stands by me and supports me in my belief system. Because Allah says, do you think you can say you believe and won't be tested? What Allah also means by that is that, do you think you can say you believe and I'm not going to support you in your belief system? I'm going to support you by showing you the areas in your life that you need to let go of so you can embody this belief more. If you believe you're unworthy, well, Allah's going to support you in that by sending you experiences, sending you people that are going to help you understand, oh, I'm feeling unworthy here. I'm feeling unlovable here. I need to look within. Every time I have a bad experience with someone, I look within and think, where did I create that? Let me think. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I have that belief and I'm thinking that way. Like the other day, my husband had like a little crash. It wasn't a crash, but something happened to the front bumper. And I know before then I was thinking about money. And I've been saying to myself, I make 300K a month. I make 300K a month. I make 300K a month. Yeah, I make 300K. Oh my God. 300K a month is so neutral, so easy, so nice. It's just like so normal for me. It's embedded in my body. It feels great. It feels safe. It feels normal, feels neutral. Then boom, my husband has an issue with the car. And it's like, my husband's a great driver. I'm like, what the heck happened here? I was like, oh, I'm creating a belief here right now. I'm letting go of a belief of, every time maybe I speak about money, something bad happens. That's the belief I had. That every time I speak about money, I have to go and spend money. The belief I had was that every time I speak good about money, money has to be spent in the most scarcest of ways or the most anxious of ways, like car breaking down, unexpected bill, yada yada yada, whatever it is. So that's the belief that was being presented to me. Like my husband sorted it out. It's not had nothing to do with me, but just the belief that came up. That, oh my god, that is it going to happen again? Like, what if something happens to me? What if like something really bad happens and all the money I received, the 300K, I have to go and spend it on something? That's what was coming up in my mind. So Allah was showing me that that's the belief I need to let go of in that moment. That's the experience I created. Allah supported my belief that I'm making 300K a month, and now Allah is showing me what I need to let go of, what belief I need to let go of by going within. Instead of me blaming the situation and getting mad and getting frustrated, I instead went in, and I do this all the time now. Because the tool I created, Abundance Rewiring, has helped me so fast. Just go within all the time. Take radical accountability for my life. And this is what Islam teaches us: take accountability before we're being held accountable. You have to take accountability. You have to take inventory of your belief systems. You have to stop being that little girl who felt unloved and feeling like everyone is responsible for your emotions, because that's what children do, right? Children are self-centered. They are kind of like narcissists, if you want to put it that way, but they are self-centered and they're selfish. They only think about their own needs. And that's a part of you that you're still playing in your life when you don't take accountability for what's happening in your life. When you blame others, you don't find the sweetness in taking account. I love taking accountability. I found so much sweetness in it. I find glory and peace in it. Like, oh girl, I created this experience. Alhamdulillah, that's amazing. Look how great Allah is. He created me to be able to do this. How great is Allah? Allah is the greatest. Like, He designed me this way. I get so infatuated and obsessed with how Allah created human beings. Like, we can create whatever experience we want in our world and Allah will support us in it. That's it. Allah is our biggest supporter. He's going to try and guide us, but like, don't go down that road. He will give us hints, our gut instinct. Like when I look back, when I'm saying that, I'm looking back at my relationship, I ignored all the red flags. There were so many, girl. Like, oh my gosh, in the first moment, in the first second, there was a red flag and I ignored it. And I paid the consequence of that. I paid the price. Because Allah says, do you think He can say you believe and won't be tested? And He also said He won't change your life until you change yourself. He won't change the challenge you're going through. He won't help you until you help yourself. And the only way you can help yourself is when you take accountability, take inventory of your belief systems, unpack your traumas, let go of the baggage that's not yours, and move forward with that assured mindset that you were created with. That's the only way. But it starts with you taking accountability. It starts with you blaming yourself in a nice way, not in a guilty way of shaming yourself, but like blaming yourself in the sense that, Rose, why did you ignore yourself? Why did you do that? Why did you ignore the red flags? Like, what was going on there? Like, instead of you getting mad at the person, like, he did this to me and he was so toxic and he's a narcissist and he's this and he's that and I hate him and he broke my heart. That's blaming. Really, what you need to go is go within and say, girl, what do you need to learn about yourself? What do you need to take accountability for? And I promise you, that's going to take you further than you trying to get married and having a baby, hoping that will heal you. Because when I did that, alhamdulillah, Allah sent me what I needed in a husband. My husband is more than what I needed and what I wanted, what I could have ever fathomed. When I think about my marriage with my husband, it's not perfect. Before you start thinking, oh my gosh, you got such a perfect marriage. No, I don't. But he is the safe space that I craved when I was a little girl. He is the love that I share. He is the definition of the way I give love. He is just that in the male form. He's everything I desired and more. He is the man I journaled about way back when, before I got married to him. He's everything I could have imagined and more. He's way more than I could have imagined. I couldn't imagine this marriage because I'd never been here before. I had never experienced it in childhood, in my early teenage years, or in early adult life. I never experienced it. I had snippets of it in money. Money made me feel safe. That's the only thing I had that relates to my experience with my husband. But the level it's at is so different. It's like a million times better than what I could have imagined. But I had to heal myself, girl, because if I didn't, My marriage with my husband wouldn't be as amazing as it is. I put in the work, so did my husband. We both put in the work in ourselves, and it reflects in our marriage. A lot of people tell us this, that, you know, we seem like we're a very healthy couple because we take the time to hold ourselves accountable when we are blaming others, when we are blaming external circumstances, because we know that nothing happens without Allah's permission and without our say so, without us creating that experience in our mind. It doesn't happen. We all, it's like I want you to imagine you are playing a movie. There's a movie in your mind where you're the main character and you're also directing it. But when you're stuck in that victim consciousness, or you're stuck in the mindset of blaming, you're just being the main character, or you're making someone else the main character. You're making your ex the main character, and you're directing his life. You're directing the script for your ex, but not directing the script for your life. That's what's happening there. Instead of you directing the script for who you are, you're directing the script for who you think your ex is, or who you think your ex-friend is, or who you think your boss is, or who you think your child is, or who you think your husband is, or who you think your whatever in-laws are, your grandma, your parents. You're directing their script and pedalizing them and making them the center stage, when you should be pedalizing Allah, making Allah the center stage, and then taking that assured belief that you had, that you were created with, and now creating the life that is meant for you, that Allah designed for you. That's what you're meant to do. You're meant to make yourself feel important, because Allah says, I am as my servant thinks of me. Think about it. What does that mean? Let's break it down. I am as my servant thinks of me, thinks of me, thinks of me. However you think of Allah is however you think of yourself. It goes hand in hand. You can't miss that step. You can't avoid it. How you think about yourself is how you think of Allah. So if you think you're unworthy, you're going to treat Allah as unworthy. You're going to say to yourself that you're going to blame Allah. And when people feel unworthy, they blame Allah. They make excuses as to why their life isn't where they want it to be. They say to themselves, Allah doesn't want it for me. How can you say Allah doesn't want it for you when Allah literally planted the seed in your mind? The dreams you have, the desires you have is from Allah. The pure desires, the desires that are going to help you change the world. They're going to make your life better. They're going to make your children's life better. That's going to heal your legacies. That's going to heal people around you. It's going to change communities. Those pure desires is from Allah, because Allah needs you, because He believes you're worthy. That's why He created you, so that you can add to the greater good of society. You were born with that mindset, but you forgot. And when you start pedalizing other people and making them the center stage of your life, you are telling yourself, I'm unworthy. You're in the audience. You're not meant to be in the audience of your own movie. You're meant to be on the center stage. You're meant to be directing the script. You're meant to be creating the script for your life. And then you act it out. That's what I did. That's what I've been doing my whole life. All my life, I've been acting. I used to act. I was in Hansel and Gretel. I used to sing in the choir. I was playing the clarinet. I've always been on center stage because I knew who I am. I knew I was destined for something great, but I had to get used to being seen. But then when I reverted to Islam and I started going, and before that, the bullying that I went through and the spiritual abuse I went through, and then getting married and me spiritually abused, that made me shrink. But it's my own fault. Because I allowed someone to believe they had power over me because I made them the center stage of my movie. I was just like, what's that word? The co-star? No, I'm not the co-star. I'm the main star of my own script. And if everyone thought like this, the world would be a better place, because when we are the main star and we feel worthy, we want everyone else around us to feel worthy. A lot of us think, if I start feeling worthy, I'm going to start being arrogant. No. People are arrogant because they feel unworthy. That's why they're arrogant. They're insecure. The world is the way it is because it's like a huge bachelor pad where men have deprived women of their feminine energy because we feel unworthy as women. So we're allowing that belief to run rampant, and we're allowing men to think they're worthy more than us. And we're just saying we're unworthy. We're just not meant, we're good for nothing. And the world is now a huge bachelor pad where men are blowing things up, G-siding everyone, and we're just sat back thinking, I'm unworthy. No. You're not unworthy. Allah would not have created you if you felt you were unworthy, because Allah is merciful and Allah is abundant. He doesn't create things with no purpose. Everything has a purpose, whether you see it or not. So when you make other people the movie of your life, you're telling yourself, I'm just like in the background, and I'm just directing their scripts in my life, and they're more important than me. And that's the reason why the world is the way it is. Everyone's insecure. Overconsumption of materialism, too much capitalism, patriarchy, all this stuff is happening because everyone's feeling insecure and they're trying to project that insecurity onto other people. When you feel worthy, you want other people to feel worthy around you. I have people who work for me and they always tell me I'm the best boss they ever had because I feel worthy and I want everyone to up level with me. It's like when you feel insecure, the reason why there's so much wars going on right now because the men are feeling insecure. They're trying to fight each other, say who's got bigger muscles, who's got the biggest muscle, me or you. That's what's going on. That's from insecurity. That's from greed. That's from feelings of unworthiness and feeling unlovable and not good enough. If you were to go inside their minds, their subconscious minds, you will find a little boy who felt abandoned and rejected. And instead of him coming to terms with that and healing that, he instead projected that feeling onto everyone else so that everyone else can feel that way. And that's the ways of the shaitan, the devil. The devil doesn't want to go to hell by himself. He wants to go with someone. He wants to go with the whole world. He wants the whole world to follow him. And that's exactly what men do when they don't feel worthy. And us women are following suit because we're thinking that's normal when it's not. Remember, you were created, your Eve, your great great grandmother was created in Jannah, in heaven. She was created in Jannah. She was created from abundance. You are abundant. You are the abundance factor. You are the assured one. You have always had certainty and confidence that Allah's got your back and Allah will always provide for you. Always. You never had to worry about anything. So you need to become the main character and the director of your life. And this is what we do in Sacred Feminine Pleasure. I help you become the main character and the director of your life. So you become that it girl, your dream woman. And when you become your dream woman, you are a better person to hang out with, a better friend, a better wife, a better sister, a better daughter, a better auntie, a better co-worker, a better colleague, a better boss, mother, a better mother. And you heal your legacy. You heal 7 generations back and you heal 7 generations forward. Whether you have children or not, you are still healing your communities because, again, remember, you are abundant. You've always been abundant. You've always been assured of yourself. You've always been confident. That confidence will radiate because you are an energetic being who radiates energy. And people can feel it. And the more you radiate that confidence, the more you give people permission to radiate confidence because that's what your energy does. It naturally makes people want to be themselves. And that's how we heal the world together. That's how we stop getting married for the sake of healing ourselves and producing kids in broken families and broken homes where the mother is more stressed out, where you're more stressed out than the husband or the father. And you start taking accountability for your life and you start making better decisions for your life. So, girl, thank you so much for listening to my podcast. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Please let me know in the comments what landed with you, what resonated with you. And inshallah, I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.